Hey, good evening. This is Ellie Barnes from New Orleans, and I am here today to start the hurricane report. I usually do a yearly hurricane report in the beginning of June. I live in New Orleans. We have a lot of friends and family here that are very concerned about hurricanes throughout the summer and into the fall. So I look and see in a psychic way whether I see storms in a region and then what kind of storms they are and then when they occur. So usually in the hurricane report, I just start looking at the quadrants, the regions, and the timing and whether they have storms or not. I was noticing by looking back at some predictions, looking at the way I'm talking to clients about their weather, because it's not just hurricanes today, it's fires and tornadoes. There's a tremendous amount of tornado activity in the middle of the country. Fires, drought. We had a drought last year in New Orleans all summer, no rain. Real hard on us because we're a water city and we are a very tropical plant city. So, weather, it seems to be, maybe just because of the Weather Channel, but weather certainly is on our mind more, and we seem to be affected with it, or have it, we have to interact with it more often than, I feel like more often than when I was younger. But, maybe that's just because weather's on the news a lot, like I said. So I'm gonna just turn that so my computer's not in the background. I have to sit in different places with different chairs. Okay, so what I want to do first today on this hurricane report. My name is Ellie Barnes. I live in New Orleans. I work at a shop, Hex Old World Witchery. I'm a famous and delightful reader and psychic in the city, strongly trained occultist, high priestess in a witchcraft tradition, Alexandrian witchcraft, and I read and work professionally as a psychic and medium. So let's just see what Ellie Barnes has to say. First, messages about the United States in 2024 during hurricane season. It's officially June 1st through, is it the end of October or the end of November? It's going to soon be like 9 months out of the year because it's based on water temperature in the Atlantic Ocean. It's hotter than it's ever been, so on record. What does that mean? On record, 135 years we've been measuring the ocean. Well, it was probably pretty damn hot when those meteorites dropped into it from far out in space, right? Pow! Did you guys read the Immanuel Velikovsky when you were young? Worlds in Collision. It's kind of old school now, but I loved it at the time. Okay. How will the United States of America fare in 2024 through the hurricane season? Just generally. First, okay? And Marta Correll, my neighbor and witch friend, this is for her because she gets anxious during hurricane season. Well, listen to this. It's okay. It's not the worst season by any means that we've seen. There will be in the middle of the year. This is probably going to be September. Late August, September, probably the worst of the time. That's traditional. We know that. And there will be something strongly in probably September that is a repeat strike in the same place, although sparing the worst of it. Okay, what do I think about hurricanes in general? 9 probably pretty strong hurricanes that'll be in the news. 6 stronger storms that make bigger stories, but I don't see them like all being 4s or 5s or anything like that. Okay, let me come together back on the same train of thought. All right, guides of Ellie, higher mind of Ellie and the universe, our guides, my guides, go to the mind of the one and look at the weather, look down on Earth, look at the East Coast, all along the Atlantic Ocean, look at the Gulf of Mexico. I used to really look at California and worry about California, but I just don't think it's the same field of interest as the eastern side. We know things can come up into the Gulf of Mexico and go anywhere from Mexico all the way to the tip of Florida, Key West, and then of course on the other side of Florida and all the way up into Canada. We have the possibility of hurricanes on the eastern shore from the Atlantic Ocean. So those are really where I focus my energy. Look at the money, if cost of life, and the most extreme situations that hurricanes cause, devastation in a town on the water, weeks without utilities. Are we looking at anything like that in 2024 for hurricanes in the United States? be honest, also, leading up to this, I've got my mind on all kinds of things, weather, politics, etc., economy. I didn't feel too badly about the hurricane season. I wasn't particularly anxious about it. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's middle of the road. There'll be some hurricanes and there'll be some storms and there'll certainly be water. And higher water, and that may be really true for us. So I'm just certainly going to be looking at New Orleans. 2 East Coast hurricanes, notable on the news. 1s or 2s. Those are the qualities of hurricanes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think they go over 5. That's like 180 mile an hour winds. They'll probably create a 6 in the next couple of years. Again, later in the year, September, October, seeing hurricane activity and rising waters, but more that than the winds and like tree damage or things like that. Longest period of time electricity out, probably somewhere like 9 days. That's pretty short, honestly. And not too much anxiety or grief. Water and cleanup, okay, but I'm not seeing major catastrophe. All right, since I'm on a roll, I'm going to go ahead and look at this. I'm going to start on the top of the United States on the eastern side, right below Canada. Like, I don't have my map out. I should call my cousin Robin Miller and ask her to show me my maps of the United States because I don't know my states. But top of the United States on the eastern side, down to, let's say, something like Virginia. Okay, middle. Then we'll go Virginia down to bottom of Florida and just kind of look at this in 2 big chunks. And the way you have to do this is, like I said, double interpolation. First is where, and then second is when, and then cross these on top of each other. I'm going to put down 5 cards in a row from top to bottom on the locations of any major hurricanes on the eastern side of the United States, from Canada to Virginia, roughly. Show me where any major storms are occurring. I should start over and get my map. I'm not going to know what the hell I'm looking at. Spirit guide says wing it. All right. We winging it. It was a good day at work too. I was on a really good roll at work with my clients, so I felt like I still got some psychic juice in me. Let's have a little go at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Virginia, okay, middle. Some roughness there. That's it. Top of the United States all the way down to Virginia, some roughness there. Let's see when that is. Otherwise, I think maybe some... I don't really see any problems. Okay, weather-wise, all right, nice. All right, Virginia-ish. What's going on? When does this occur? I'll go make another video tomorrow and we'll look at where that is. I can see it in my mind. It's right above Virginia. South Carolina? North Carolina? South Carolina? Okay. Manteo, Wrightsville Beach. Is Virginia even on the coast? Hope so. When does this occur? I mean, I'm going to give it a category 3, no doubt. When? September, late August, September. Trees, bushes, people who are really dumb, who don't take any precautions at all. It's probably the place with the 9 days without electricity. Look out for looters. In that particular case, look out for looters. I'll try to find out tomorrow exactly where that's located. Looters and unlaw-abiding folks with ill intentions. All right, I'm going to look now from Virginia down to the bottom of Florida, tip of Florida, that's Key West. For hurricane season 2024 in the United States of America, that's June through at least November. hurricane area from the middle of the United States, Virginia-ish, down to the very bottom of Florida in 2024. Where are the major storms that may occur, hurricanes, in 2024? Yes, sir. Oh, man. Oh, it's so fun when you have spirit guides that like work with the public regularly at this point, you know, and they make fun of folks and they make fun of me. I'm gonna put something at Key West, pretty serious. Although it could be Cuba. Okay, it might miss Key West and just come down to, well, of course there's Haiti and Dominican Republic, and what else is right in there? I'll just say something else. There's a lot of pirates and a lot more drugs on boats than I noticed before. Okay, that's kind of heavy. That's coming in and out of America. I shouldn't say that, okay. All right, so be on the lookout. Waterways on the eastern side of the United States. You know, pay attention to what you're doing. There are pirates out there. There are people that traffic drugs, etc. They are armed. I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but there's just, we'll look at the news and see what's going on that way. But, you know, always pay attention to what you're doing. Don't head off into places you don't know about without, you know, a guide. Key West, bottom of Florida. Can you give me more information about that? Is it a major storm? Is it a near miss? Bottom of Florida, Key West, 2024, United States of America hurricane season. I remember, I think a couple of years ago, I had this vision of like boats on top of boats on top of boats. I mean, stacked up on land, boats, thousands of boats. And I thought, well, that was kind of dumb to say, Ellie, because, you know, hurricanes are water, duh. They're on the coast, duh. There's going to be boats. It just doesn't authenticate your work at all. But later, it was in the season, and there was a storm that hit maybe around south of Tampa or something like that. And the video footage was boats on top of boats on top of boats, exactly as I had seen. So I could, if I could show you a picture of what was in my brain, you'd say that was right. I think it is a near skirt with the Keys, okay? I think it comes under the Keys and doesn't really, it's winds and things. I don't think it does any major damage down there, but I still think it could be a real threat to the things south of Florida, south of the Keys, or east coming into the Gulf of Mexico. And then I think that particular hurricane kind of just goes across the bottom of the Gulf and smashes into Mexico and drizzles out. Look at Florida from the Gulf of Mexico side. This is my side. This is where my families are and my houses are, Florida and New Orleans. So this is the area that I really pay a lot of attention to. Got a lot of friends on the eastern side, though, and friends in all over Florida, friends and family. And sometimes when you're in the middle of Florida, you get hit, you're coming and going, you know. I mean, there's a lot. It's not a thick state. All right. It's a long state, though. Okay. The Keys up the coast of Florida to Alabama, Mississippi border. From the Keys of Florida all the way up the Florida coast to the Mississippi, Alabama border on the Gulf of Mexico in 2024 hurricane season, United States of America. Are there any major storms here in this land area? there a place called Morehead City in North Carolina? Ooh, I gotta start down here. No. Where's the area that's got some issue? Maybe the Bend, Apalachicola, Panama City Beach. God, Mexico City, Panama City Beach got hit a few years ago. It was devastating. I don't remember the name of that, but that flattened the coastline right on the Gulf, flattened it. That area, Apalachicola, Panama City, Mexico Beach, maybe down to Mount Dora. Okay. Category 2 or 3, same condition, a lot of inlets, lagoons, etc., full of boats. There'll be infrastructure issue, flooded streets, wrecked boats, power lines down. Everyone's gonna whine, and because that area hasn't had a hurricane in a pretty good while, I think they'll have some chaotic reaction and maybe a little slow to solving that, and there are more seniors in this area, which makes it a little bit more compromised. When is that occurring? The Bend of Florida storm. What month is this occurring? You know, we should have done a solar flare season, because I think the solar flares in the last year have been some of the strongest I've ever experienced psychically. And I do think they kind of landed in certain areas and caused problems. I'm sure someone tracks that, probably somebody at NASA, but we don't have that like solar flare storm report like we do hurricanes. Oh, the Florida problem probably... I'm going to also say, I think actually 2 opportunities, one right away, possibly in June for some sort of a mild stormy flooding event, and then September with possible problems still going on in October from it, clean up. But much better by November. Okay, that's still, I'm considering not a tragic Category 5 hurricane. Okay, dun dun dun. Getting into the area where I live. Yeah, I covered my house in Pensacola. I think that's going to be okay this year. I'm going to check back on that probably privately, and then I'm going to come now to the Mississippi-Alabama border all the way to Texas. I don't know. Let's go ahead and just do half of Texas and say something like maybe to Galveston or something. I want to turn the corner from Louisiana to Texas and then do bottom of Texas and Mexico, okay? So now I'm in the area in 2024, the United States of America hurricane season, from the border of Mississippi and Alabama, which is, so it's Alabama, then Mississippi, then Louisiana. So that covers Mississippi, Louisiana, and the first little bit of Texas. Are there any major hurricanes in this area of the United States of America in 2024 hurricane season? From the Mississippi-Alabama border all the way through Louisiana and down to the beginning of Texas on the coast, the Gulf of Mexico, United States of America hurricane season. Are there major storms in this area in 2024? Hurricanes. What am I looking at? Okay. Damn it. This isn't good at all. I think it's actually not quite at New Orleans. I think it's to the east of us, between Mississippi, okay? going to be a lot of congestion on the roads, late last-minute evacuations, ill-prepared, unfortunately lack of organized government. Barrier islands, people staying behind on barrier islands will not probably fare well, okay? This is also barrier islands, it's intercoastal. I think this is Mississippi. I do not think this is New Orleans direct, but of course Louisiana has a lot of coastline. Let me come back and look at this, okay? It's a lot of news stuff about it too. It's a lot of stress. All right, I would like to ask about just the state of Mississippi for 2024 for hurricanes. Just the state of Mississippi for 2024 hurricanes, the United States of America, the coastlines, a small little strip. Mississippi's not very wide at the water at the base of the state. Are there hurricanes in Mississippi or on the border between Alabama and Mississippi or Mississippi and Louisiana in 2024 United States of America hurricane season? And thereof, I understand the dates might be changing. So what have I said so far? Maybe middle of Virginia or something like North Carolina, Manteo or Morehead City. Nothing higher than that, nothing lower than that. Maybe a miss at Key West. Maybe a little something at the bend of Florida, Apalachicola, Panama City. I mean a little something, maybe like a 2. I'm not trying to underplay these aren't important things, but I'm looking at big scale stuff. And then when I get to the section from Mississippi down to the beginning of Texas, it's like very traumatizing, okay? I believe that 2 storms come in back to back in our region. Mississippi, yeah. It's just weird. It's like maybe a hurricane forms and comes in. There's a second one that's kind of spinning around with it. That hits also. It could be like 10 days apart and the electricity's not back on and then another one comes in. I don't really see lots of loss of life except for some of the real idiots that decide to like go surfing in the heat of it, or people that stay in their island houses saying we can go in the attic if we need to. None of that. That's all Darwin Award material right there, okay? I'm going to look at Louisiana and then Texas, okay? Look at Louisiana, and that certainly includes New Orleans, but there's a lot of room around New Orleans that is not New Orleans, okay? And there's a lot of water around us, so things can be very complicated. Well, there's water around Florida too, but anyway, complicated with where it actually pushes water up into a region and affects it. Look at the state of Louisiana. Do we have major hurricanes in Louisiana in 2024? United States of America. Little Kingston, what are you doing? I had some interlopers around recently, which I don't know why. Not unpleasant, but showing up a lot more often, which means there's something going on underneath the ground. You know, I've got to pay attention to it. I'm still going from right to left, which is east to west in the way I'm viewing the landscape. Yes, I don't think we have direct hits in New Orleans. Okay, Marta, no direct hits in New Orleans. Okay, but nearby, water, confusion, probably businesses closed down a little bit. A lot of discussion, people leave, tourism is ready to come. It's going to be predicted for a storm. It gets stuff gets canceled. I mean, that's just the classic stuff. I don't know. I guess I'll still call it a 2 or 3 hurricane hitting Louisiana. Probably to the west of New Orleans, okay? Mississippi gets something too, though. I'm not really sure what that is. Texas. Texas. Oh, I didn't ask when. Oh, when. When does that Louisiana storm come in? June through November. What month? Yeah, west of New Orleans. Okay. West of Lake Pontchartrain, yes. I guess basically for me too, I don't consider 2 as that big a deal. 1 tropical storm or a 1, you know, from Florida, I've lived through hurricanes all my life. 2s, meh. 3, I'm much more paying attention to a 3, and 4s I'm definitely going to pay attention to, but when does this happen in Louisiana, hurricane in 2024, Louisiana, what month? So my description of them is different than yours, and that's going to be true with readers. You know, I even try to look at numbers of dead. They weren't that horrible this year. I'm looking at people maybe like in the 20s and 30s for dead in an area, which is mostly drowning. It's pretty normal. October. These are late. These are a lot of late storms, okay? October. Texas. You can see it in my mind. Corner of Texas, Texas and Louisiana, all the way down to Mexico. Where is that? Brownsville or Laredo? I'm going to do this again tomorrow and post a second video. I think it's really cool to kind of double check these things. Or see if I feel the same way and see if I get similar messages. I often do what I call cross-reading or cross-checking, which is a counter question in the opposite direction. You can tell whether you're validating your reading or you're still questioning it. And when someone's unsure about a psychic answer, allow that, because there's still free will, there's still change, and sometimes we don't know, we can't know ahead. Sometimes. I think a lot we can know ahead. I think things are fairly predetermined. But we have some range of motion with free will. I think Texas is okay. I think also in October there's something in Texas that may be part of what we have to deal with too. I'd like to say this too. I feel a combination of storms, maybe back to back or side by side. Maybe 2 storms clumped together at the end, or sometimes they do that off Africa and they're coming and then all of a sudden they're just one big thing and then that's a bigger story. I do have the psychic feeling that things dissipate towards the end more than they are shown to be. You know, this is a number 4 and it's going to hit smack on. That often happens too, though, that as they approach land they kind of weaken. Barrier islands and islands off the coasts, I would be very careful in these places. I just think they're much more vulnerable than they used to be to massive flooding. I don't see a lot of deaths. I don't see as many boats at all. And maybe just the news and the Home Depot trips and everybody trying to keep their act together with their bottled water and all that is kind of a pain in the ass. But we're kind of getting used to that, right? Okay, so that is my, Texas is okay. That is my first hurricane report for 2024. I'm going to keep looking at this. There's some other things I want to really report on: fires and flooding, earthquakes, if I see any more activity there. Then I'm going to switch over into politics, geopolitics, the economy, spiritual movement. There's a lot of energy around the earth right now, and there's a lot going on, and every psychic and spiritualist is going to tell you they feel it. Most people are feeling it anyway. And so I've just been kind of directed to start looking at topics to see, not particulars as much as where we're headed and where we are now, where we're headed, and what helps us smooth our journey. I think that's what I'd like to look at. But so I'll be doing some other reporting. I'm going to load this video up and put it on my YouTube channel, Ellie Barnes Psychic. Please like my channel, subscribe to my channel, and that will encourage me to make more charming videos. And then I'll do some in different outfits with different backgrounds sometimes, okay? Love you guys. Bye.